Hello and welcome to episode 38 of the Talking Wednesday podcast. Before we start today, we just want to send our best wishes out to Jose Semedo on the passing of his wife. Sorry, Semedo. I can't imagine what he's going through right now. And obviously, before we get into our madness, quite a somber note to start the podcast on. But all the Wednesday fan base is pretty much sending out his support. Everybody is with him, and we just wanted to say it at the top end of this podcast. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about it this week, and hopefully he can get himself in a good headspace. And I can't imagine what he's going through, so we just wanted to say all the best before we move in to the podcast. Talking Wednesday 38, we will get into our usual running of the podcast. There's a lot to talk about on the football front this week, not so much on the news. It's been quite a slow news week, but that isn't how we start the podcast anymore, is it, Jake? That's
Nope.
We've got plenty to talk about before that with some of your inputs as well. But the tradition is, how's your week been, my friend?
Been very good. I've been sorting things out. I did, apart from Saturday.
You went out on the sesh, didn't you?
I went out on the sesh, yeah. First time in about 2 years. And luckily, no hangover on the Sunday. So I was very happy because I had a little girl to look after on the Sunday. So it was lovely. It was nice to go see friends. It was nice to socialise. But it was also nice to have adult conversation where you're not adding to go, Mummy and Daddy. It's like we could actually use our real names. It was weird.
I thought you were... you'd reached that ripe old age where a hangover practically finishes you off.
It would have done, but I think I was quite sensible with what I was drinking.
I see. Okay.
I took the Jim Beam and Coke because that's all they had. And then I had Dandelion and Burdock Hoppers beer.
You see, that's what kills you. That's what I've noticed. As soon as I hit past like 21, mixing is the thing that kills you. It just rots you on the inside.
As soon as
you
mix, you're done.
Yeah. Especially when you mix as much as... I was like, oh, yeah, I'll have rum. Tell you what, let's go for some whiskey. A bit of beer, why not? Oh, someone's got the cider out. Let's have a can of cider.
If you really want to ruin your night, have tequila.
I don't.
I don't.
Actually,
it doesn't
I like
do
my
me
liver.
Well. I also like to remember the night.
I don't.
Like if I had tequila, I don't remember anything.
Tequila just punishes you. That's the whole thing. There's nothing nice about tequila. All right, like we've all drank it. Well, most of us have drank it, there's nothing nice about it. I'm yet to, if you are the person that likes tequila, let me know in the comments and I'll have you sectioned. Right, okay.
How's your week been?
Busy again. No, that's pretty much the norm at the minute for a little while. It was nicer. I got a little bit more of an extended weekend. But no, I had a bit of energy this time and it meant that I wasn't working at all at the weekend. So I thought, do you know what? I'll give myself a bit of editing time because it's mainly the editing time on weekends, Jake. And I was like, I'll get the camera out of the ground and we'll do the vlog that I've been promising.
How did it feel vlogging again?
Weird, because more people know me now. And you get those looks.
We that
what?
Kind
Sorry.
Of like pulling it out your pocket going,
Well, I had my big coat on, and it was sort of like, because we lost as well, right?
Yeah.
I was like pulling the coat out when they'd scored and just going, because I was sat on a row and I could tell there was a few ultras a couple of rows behind me, full on giving it, and I was like, I've just got a camera and recorded when we've conceded. I'm going to look like... So I was just like doing this, recoiling into my seat. It's part of the reason I don't like doing it, because it's... Yeah. But...
If you're an audio listener, Dexter cowering.
Yeah. It was...
Like someone telling him off.
Well, it was nice. I was sat on my own. Like, I used to sit... I don't mind saying this now, because I'm probably never going to sit there permanently again, but I always used to sit front of T2 in the car. I used to like just being there. Even though you do get the dip of the ground, you get the curvature of the pitch a little bit. It's a little bit of an odd view. I always just, for some reason, I like the first 3 rows there. So for many years, I was always around there. But I couldn't get any of those, and I wanted an aisle seat. So I got onto T3. So I was pretty much the same region. Or was it T3 that I used to have, and then I went to... I'm confusing myself now which way it goes around. But yeah, I sat there. It was nice because I had 3 seats next to me, and that's what I wanted. If I was going to the ground, I wanted to make sure I had space.
Enough room.
Big coat over me. So, and there was a COVID shield behind me, obviously in front of me.
Well,
absolutely nobody wearing masks.
Also,
which is fun.
Big Peak going in front of you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There were some masks in the north when I went the other week, but there was no masks in the cop today. I don't think anybody's wearing them in the ground at all. To be fair,
it's a really weird one. People going in, then they go in and then they take the masks off. So it's like, right, we're sitting down, we're outside, we're fine. That moment where you're in and out is the bit where they go mask on, mask off. If you know what I mean. And if you're not actually physically going in anywhere, where you're just going in and you're near the mega store, it's like, I don't need a mask on. What's the point? I'm outside. That's the feeling people are doing.
Well, it was weird because I usually don't let my Jesus self be known in the ground. I'm usually quite discreet. I'm usually with people, so I'm always having a chat and the phone's never out and I'm not. But I thought, you know what, because I'm conspicuous and the phone's coming out, I might as well let the Jesus hair flow. I might as well sit and not really try and be a little bit like... Because don't get me wrong, it's not like one of those things where I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get recognised. It's just a case of like, there is some people, even in our own fan base, if you're the one that's doing all those videos, they can be a bit of an arse to you for no reason. And you just like, mate, I'm just a Wednesday fan, you know, but like, oh, you're that guy, oh, do a video, oh, you know.
The worst one for me was games, and then after a while, I originally used to go up with the mohawk up, and I was like, this is dumb. Yeah. Everybody knows who I am. I've got a very, very ambiguous haircut. This is
listen to that. Everybody knows who he is.
No,
everybody knows who he is. I've just purposely avoided anything close to that.
Everybody knew who I was because I was speaking to the Alto a lot at the time. Right. And I was really good friends with him. And I still am to this day. And
he's doubling down. If
anybody like knows the whole thing with Alto, people either hate him or they love him. If you meet them, the lovely lads who run it. But at the same time, there's a group of people that just don't like Outtalk or anything like that. And I think this space that we're in now, where we're doing YouTube, it's like the new fanzine. And there's a lot of people who still don't get it and will never understand it. And I think that's the hard bit for people.
I'll be honest though, there was a few people because when I had my hood down, obviously, and I was walking about, some people was like, "You're right, Dex," sort of thing, and that was nice. You know, that was sort of like chatting to people and I didn't get any grief when I was because usually I am very much like I look quite different at matches purposefully. I try and mold my face because I also go with my mates, and like they will also rip me to shreds. Like for the same reason.
Where I've gone with mates and we've been sat there doing it, and one of them will go, "Are you going to talk about this on your video really loudly?" It's like, yes, shut up. Like, what? You don't want to promote your channel?
But yeah, I'll bring the... So if you saw an idiot with a camera out, it was technically, actually, I used my phone because I got a good enough camera on there, but it was a case of like... The annoying thing is, I knew if I did it once and I did it publicly once... I had a feeling that it'd do well and people would want more.
It did very well.
It's done very well.
Very well.
And people want more. Because I used to do them all the time when the channel had like 800, not even 800 subs, like 500 subs, and they used to get like 1,000 views.
Well,
this got 2,000 views this got like 2,000 views in a day, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be a thing that people want more, which I might do, right? I still want. The reason I say I don't like it is not like I'm trying to be an arse or I'm not trying to make more content. It's literally really difficult for me to get fully engrossed in the game if I've got a camera out.
Yeah,
if I've got my phone out. The reason
why I don't do it because I get too distracted with the camera or the phone, and I don't enjoy the match.
Yeah,
I don't enjoy being there, and then if I'm watching it like on the phone, but then I'm actually there. It's like it does my head in. It's like that third person kind of thing. And I'd rather enjoy the match and do like the key moments if need be. I did like your picture on Twitter. Does this man have eyes?
Oh Christ! We'll get into that in a minute, right? Because that was ridiculous. But yeah, it's something that I've heard you. Thank you so much for your support on that video, right? I will do more, but I still want to keep the healthy balance of just going. Keeping fairly low profile, not being that idiot with a camera out. But other than that...
It's making the content fun for you, but also enjoying the game at the same time.
Exactly.
There is a fine balance.
And I'll be honest, the footage of the game was absolutely crap because part of it was like... I guess at the minute it's all right because I'm trying
and
not
and the YouTube algorithm cares how?
Yeah, but I'm not trying to. Exactly.
You
I'm not trying to. I'm not chanting at the minute, so I'm not moving about too much because
Yeah.
I just think like I'm still trying to be fairly responsible and not like spit over all the people in front
To
of
be
me
fair,
by chanting a lot.
I've got this kind of image of you, yeah, chanting, and you absolutely forget you got your phone in, your phone just goes that way, go, crap, I pinged Bannon as he'd gone to take a corner.
Well, it was. I'll be honest. I've not been that close to the action in a little while. That's the thing. I was sat so. I used to always sit towards the front, and to sit towards the front was quite nice again because I just realised that, like, literally, you are a stone's throw from everything at this corner, right? I almost was like when they were taking their absolute time with things, because Judd Thornley was stood in front of me for a while. I was pretty much like, "Can you have a word, mate? Because what is going on here?" But we'll get into that when we talk about the match in a little bit later. But housekeeping, we're still in that, yeah. So it's we've got more to talk about in housekeeping. We've got one review. It's over on Podchaser this week.
Woohoo!
It's from Will R. Says, excellent listen with a good range of content, not solely Wednesday, which, as we all know, can be depressing. Good balance of humour and appropriate coverage of the more serious issues. Clearly, a lot of time and effort goes into the podcast. As somebody that listens every week, thank you for your efforts. Really like the community engagement and ambition to do even more. Keep up the great work. It is appreciated. Thank you so much, Will R. That's so lovely. And obviously, Podchaser is a sort of an independent platform that you can go on and rate us without being on like an Apple ecosystem or anything like that. A lot of people rate us over on the Apple one, which is great because it really helps us on there. But Podchaser is also one of the ones that will help us with Google rankings and things. So please go and leave us a review over there. That would be absolutely lovely. But have we got anything else in the housekeeping? Let's have a quick look. Next Dexterity Watch. I'm not doing the Pizza Cup the night this goes live, purely because I'm so busy this week. I've got so much prep work to do in the evening. I'm going to, if I stream, it wipes out like 2 hours of prep work, unfortunately. Yeah, exactly. Because it's the build up to it. It's that. And because if it was a league game, I'd do it. But because it's the Pizza Cup, we're not doing that. Obviously, join the Discord. The link's still active. I think we've got a few more spaces on the current link, but we will repost it. It's been good to see.
It's been busy recently. There's been some good topics and good communications in lots of other threads instead of the Talking Wednesday, so it's good to see.
Yeah, you guys are also cutting on, and so what we want to develop this podcast into, by the way, with quite a lot.
Which is quite cool to see that people are like now going, we get it now.
You get it, yeah, exactly. I also want to give a shout out to Carl at Sheffield Chef Futsal Club. So the futsal, there's a local.
Is this what you were telling me about?
Yeah. So there's a local futsal club. If you're not too sure of it, let me just get the exact details. They've got a Twitter at Chef Futsal. I'll put a tweet out at some point, probably when I've actually done something more with what I'm about to show you. But ages ago, right? I was shouting about like I'm a bit of a nerd. It was ages ago. And I put it on Twitter and I put, if anybody who listens to the podcast remotely, can you hook me up with some of the Pokemon stuff that they are doing for futsal? Because it was only going to futsal clubs. Yeah. Now, the head of operations at Sheffield Futsal Club got in touch with me and went, I think we've got a couple of those lying about that we're not using. We've used most of them, but they obviously got like a set of them. I don't have a child. There was no way I was getting a hand of this. He just said, well, you can have one if you want. So I have got here That
is awesome.
It's not blown up because I was going to do this with a ball pump, which is why it wasn't last week's episode. Apologies, Carl. But I have got the Pokeball from the
There's got to be
futsal.
A skit. There's got to be a skit with you doing.
It's not blown up, which is why. But yeah, it's got the little England thing. It's got the
awesome.
Pokemon futsal thing on. Yeah, and Carl sorted me out with this. So I just want to say, let me just get that futsal club thing correct. So it's at Chef Futsal Club on Twitter. They are they've got a much bigger Twitter than we have, but I would like to point our listeners over that way. And also, if you are interested in futsal, get yourself signed up. I think they're looking at kids programs, things like that. We're going to look at something more descript in the future because I'm probably going to do a little bit more with the futsal club because I just think it's a great thing. Get people active and it's local, isn't it? So Sheffield Futsal Club, thank you so much for this. There was no way I was ever getting this. They've also given me another one if we want to do some sort of giveaway or something in the future. I'm going to be careful, though, because it can go to somebody who's just going to sell it. So if I do something, I'm going to do it properly, and it's probably going to be down the line. I spoke to Carl about this a little bit more. But yeah, I'm going to... It's
He's
just
going to put a tiny little spot on it, and if he sees it on eBay, he knows that little spot on it. That's the one he did the giveaway on.
Yeah, it's just because I want to make sure that if we do stuff like that. I've also... You can see there's a load of Wednesday videos behind me. I've got a lot more retro Wednesday stuff coming. These I don't know if I've showed you these, Punk. These are from I've got the mid-season review from 92-93 here, the 93-94. I've got all the reviews from over here. There's 96-97 there. Really cool things.
It's funny I should say retro because I've got a load of retro stuff coming soon as well to start kitting behind me.
But this is the thing. We are going to start doing giveaways to our members. I'm looking around on this channel. Our members, things like that in the future. There's a lot of membership milestones coming up. I know it's Edward. You've hit a year, by the way. I just want to give you a shout on the podcast. So have you, Punk. Thank you. There will be stuff going. There will be stuff that we're doing for those anniversaries soon. It's just we're currently working on them, so they might be a couple of months behind. But we are looking at all that stuff for the people who are supporting the channel at the higher levels, especially like credited friends like it's Edward, dollar friends and up. But yeah, some of it might include stuff like retro gear. So as you can see here, this is Wednesday versus Forest from 1965.
The cantilever stand in all glory.
1965. I've literally got a bag full of these right here. There's...
You know what? My uncle probably went to that game as well.
Wednesday Everton, 1969. There's all sorts in here. So I'm going to be doing stuff for the channel, for the podcast, little things here for our members. So consider becoming a member if you haven't as well. We'll be doing general giveaways just for our listeners that can't support us that way as well. But it's going to include little Wednesday things, sometimes not Wednesday things. Sometimes it won't be that sort of thing. Sometimes it'll just be a little thing that's to do with Talking Wednesday or the channel. That's the plan for this year forward. We're going to be looking at stuff in the next few months.
What I keep getting from some people is when he's talking Wednesday doing merch, we are planning on doing it at some point.
Yeah, and merch will be tailored into that, especially people at the higher levels of membership. We will try and every year or so try and do something like that when we get a merch line going. So you join. We are keeping in mind who has been supporting us and who is supporting us at sort of those higher tiers as well. You know, we do appreciate that, and I know you didn't expect anything back in return. That you're supporting us out of the goodness of your heart, but we are going to start looking at making it a little bit more enticing for people as well on that front because we want to make sure that it's
also. I can't remember who it was, and you do watch it. Someone did suggest can some of the merch just be a dictionary for Jake so he can remember how to talk. I was like, appreciate that.
Our own version,
but that also means I've got to read.
Okay, this is a new segment on the Talking Wednesday podcast. And this is where everybody leaves now when we get 200 viewers a week. Are you ready? The Bake Off Roundup. Did you watch Bake Off this week, Jake?
I haven't seen it this week.
Oh, mate.
I hadn't had a chance.
There's a lovely German man on it called Jürgen, and me and Soph are rooting for Jürgen. Let me know who your favourite Bake Off contestant this year is on the in the Discord. I know a lot of people are forced to watch Bake Off, but it has become a bit of a guilty pleasure of mine. Over time, so it was Biscuit Week. You've got to watch it, Jake.
Oh,
do you not watch Bake Off? Do you not watch Bake Off?
We don't want much telly in general. To be fair, my missus does. She'll watch it. I ain't watched Bake Off in ages.
I don't watch telly, but there's something about Bake Off that I've started to really enjoy.
To be fair, my telly is anything my little girl's watching. So Emily's Adventure, some sort of Netflix show. Or if I've got the chance to have the telly, I'm currently grinding through Far Cry New Dawn before Far Cry 6 on Thursday.
I could spoil that for you right now, but I'm not person. I'm not that person. Community topics. We start with them, we end with them. Bob writes in, Bob123 on the Discord this week says, if you were to open a restaurant, where would it be and what cuisine would be on offer? Ooh. Fun word, cuisine is French for kitchen and food.
So I'd had this one before, being an ex-chef, and there was a couple of places I would want to open. Canada.
You were an ex-chef?
Yeah.
We've never spoke about this in 38 episodes.
I'm a fully trained chef. That's why I'm called Punk Chef 41. because I'm an ex-chef. I'm a punk, and when I made the channel, I was listening to Sum 41, and Sum 41 just worked with the name, so Punk Chef 41 it was.
I feel like I'm genuinely like discovering this, like the moment I discovered the other day that Elijah Wood was in Spy Kids 3, and I never knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know when you figure something out, like, and you're like, as you get older, and I'm like, this is a revelation. You're a chef.
Yep.
Right, you're cooking for the anniversary special when we do it in January.
Can do. I ain't cooked in
Fair
a while,
enough.
but I love it.
Yeah, I assume it's probably not good actually if you fit when you're holding.
One of the things we have was when we were thinking about me going back to work was like, do we really want to deep fry Jake? And
no,
my
you would.
Like, not really.
Well, no, that's the thing. You can't really, can you? Because if you, it's so dangerous.
Yeah, it's such a shame. 'Cause I spent so long training to be a chef, and the thing is, the problem with chefs, they get burnt out really quickly.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
But going back to the thing, I'd probably go Lake District, somewhere on the edge of the lakes.
Yeah.
And proper British cuisine, but proper like from around where it is, everything's sorted naturally, everything's within locally, so you can get the best of British without, because there's so many places that do it but don't do it well.
Yeah, I agree. I'd do a bit different. I love Newquay. Go down to Newquay. I'd open a burger and pizza shack, and but have like gourmet burgers. You know, the proper like,
awesome. Oh, the big thick one with like,
yeah, and do it like it's sort of like a mix of, and I'd have a rock bar attached to it as well, obviously.
Yeah.
So it'd be like an open air rock bar and burger shack and pizza place. It wouldn't be more of it'd be a bit more of a modern restaurant. It wouldn't be fine dining, but it would, because the burgers would be excellent. I'm just saying, I can make a mean burger. I'll make you a burger at some point.
Basically, what you've done it so you can have the burger bar, have a rock club near, and then you can have gigs at the same time and promote your band.
Not my band. We were. Oh no. The one thing that I said is that's my retirement plan. I'd like.
Is that your retirement?
I'd like to open sort of like a bar with the sort of like a rock bar in it. But
I can actually see you as an owner behind the bar. And
yeah, but I wouldn't be like, oh, let's play every night, let's headline it. It'd just be. It'd be. I think it might be more of a quiet restaurant than a rock bar nowadays, because I do kind of like that. But I also don't like people, so there's that to it. That's the downside to it. Yeah.
I don't like people, so it's but.
Jake Tilsley 22 writes in and asks, favourite pizza? Now, this one can cause many arguments. Many arguments.
Anything with a hell of a lot of salami, pepperoni. I don't like. Whoever put bolognese on pizza, that's just no.
No.
I haven't had it that it's nice. Let's put it that way.
Right, but if you have a Mexican pizza and they do the chili bolognese,
the chili, that's fine.
The chili is excellent.
I've had it before from a couple of places where they do it as a actual bag bowl bolognese, and it doesn't taste nice.
I like it when they do a proper chili, because sometimes you'll get a chili pizza or a Mexican pizza and it'll just taste like mincemeat under the cheese because they've not seasoned it well at all. But when it tastes like a proper, salivating, mate, it's the best. Pineapple on pizza?
Can take it, cannot. I understand people who do, but at the same time, it's people preference. I wouldn't personally have it.
You should have condemned it immediately, because now I'm considering your place on this podcast, to be honest, because anybody who has pineapple on the pizza needs to have the hard drive checked, in my opinion. It's an absolute travesty.
Well, you've got the editing stuff where you can put a VAR check in this if you want.
I'm not having it. But that's a debate all by itself. Should we get into the actual podcast now? This is the podcast now, by the way. The match roundup. Sheffield Wednesday played 2 people this week. Not just 2 people. 22
I wish we played
people.
2 people. We might have done better on Saturday.
Tuesday the 28th of September saw Wednesday travel to Wigan against Wigan Athletic. Run me through this one, Jake.
Weird result for us, because when we're going into this, you're seeing that the top of the league, top of the form table, like, right, we're going to get battered here. We're not going to do well. But we've done a typical Wednesday, which is we've actually played very well, played decent. It was an own goal, and it was a comical own goal, let's be fair. But it was nice to have that look on our side this time, because we've been on the other end. The only thing that I got with the entire result itself, some good goal for Wednesday as well. Very good goal. Patterson's goal was lovely. It really was. Even though he said he didn't mean it, but it was a damn good goal. That volley just...
Oh, no, yeah. He didn't mean it at all, but like it was the perfect volley against the floor bounce.
Yeah.
You're not saving that.
We also were speaking in the Discord that we'd all forgotten what Patterson
Did you nearly call it the Dex chord there? Because that's quite a good name for it. Carry on.
In the Discord about how he's not heard Patterson speak in a long time, and his face doesn't fit his voice. It really doesn't. But go on.
I think he's well spoken. I think he's well spoken.
The only thing in this game that annoyed me was the penalty. It was very soft, to be honest with you. When that penalty goes in on the 81st or whenever it was, you're like, right, what are Wednesday going to do now to mess this up? Because we all have that mindset now. As soon as the team scores in the 80th, we automatically go, oh no, your stream. When we've had it in the past.
Oh yeah, I was streaming Wigan, weren't I? I was streaming Wigan as well, and I said that like we needed to be in those 10 minutes when we were holding on. We needed to manage the game well and do a bit of time wasting, things like we could have done a bit more time wasting. I'll get into time wasting because people said we were time wasting at Wigan in response to the Oxford game. We weren't. We only started time wasting when we conceded like late on. You know, we conceded and it was 2-1 and we were like, no, we need to cling on to this for like 10 minutes, cling on. And that's when we started like doing the, the game management stuff, which is what you're meant to do. You expect that. What you don't expect is something with the Oxford thing a little bit later on that I'll talk about, but carry on.
Lee Gregory could have had a chance of he looked pretty lively up top. It's really weird. We had no Barry Bannon in there, and that midfield looked very good without Barry Bannon for a change and nothing going through it. But at the same time, you do miss something when you don't have him in. But it's like Brown was superb. Absolute superb. At the minute, for me, and this will get hate anyway, Palmer's got that right back spot to a point.
Yeah, I agree.
Because since Hunt got shoved on his arse against Plymouth, he's not really been in.
Yeah.
Properly, has he?
Yeah, I said when we re-signed him, like I said, I understand why we've re-signed him here, but for me, he doesn't displace Palmer. And I think if there's a chance his legs are going, and we saw at the start the signs of legs going, and that's the dangerous thing when you need somebody that, because Hunt likes to get forward. If he can't track back, we're in trouble.
You're having to, if he can't track back, what you've got Iorfa having to clear up and then going out of position.
Who is a beast, by the way. He's like a Rolls Royce in this. If we lose him in January, we're going to League Two. I'm just saying. Like he's the one that keeps us anywhere near competent at the back for me.
But it was a weird game. It was good to get 3 points though, and there was a bit of positivity going. But I'll let you start with the Oxford game.
Yeah, fair play. So we're changing tradition here. Oxford was a very bad first half. They got a goal early on. We couldn't break the communication of the back line was not great at all. And I was watching how high we had our line, and we weren't, because the communication wasn't great. They could easily spring the offside trap and get past it. We weren't using the offside trap properly, and they were managing to find little through balls and break through us, and that's eventually how they got through, and they scored
goal.
It was so avoidable, but you can't be beaten there for Bailey Peacock-Farrell for me. He needs to get lower. Lower there for it. But it's just, the first half was one of those where I was like, right, but the weird thing for me, right, and I'm not trying to bash Oxford here, but I did find it weird. They started time wasting in the first half. Herbie Kane was on his arse, right? And I was like, what are you doing? And he was walking really slowly to corners, and it was like less than 30 minutes on the clock. I was like, what are you doing?
You've still got another 45 to go here, mate.
Yeah, that's what surprised me, because I thought, we'll come back out in the second half and we'll make them rue that, slowing it down in the first half.
But that's very much Carl Robinson tactic.
I've watched Oxford before, right? And I will say that there's been some fans that go in time wasting. Didn't you do that against Wigan? No, yes, we did in the last 10 minutes. We didn't do it in the first half. And a lot of their fans have said, we've not seen us play, because I've been chatting to them, and we've not played like that. But we've seen so many teams do it to us that we've kind of like, if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
And that's why you come to Wednesday, who are obviously favourites on paper, really. you do deploy those tactics. But I thought they had a game plan and they managed it well. The plan was get the goal and sit on it.
Yeah.
Now, second half, we did come out firing a little bit more. The switch was right for me. Gregory was not getting into the game whatsoever. The one thing I will say about Barry Bannon is when he's on the ball, you bring it to a player that can make something happen that you, without a proper footballing brain, because you're not a footballer, wouldn't see happening. So, you think, oh, maybe I pass it off and I make the easy choice there. Barry Bannon will do a little shimmy and get past a player. He'll beat a man more.
Yeah.
And that's what Barry Bannon offers that our other players don't offer. But if he doesn't beat the man, it's difficult, and we did see a lot of that in the first half. The second half, though, we were getting it to Berahino more. Berahino, for me, was the great change because he came on and he made stuff happen. If that header had gone in, that header in the first 5 minutes of him coming on could have easily put us 1-1 within 5 minutes of the second half.
It was also nice to see him play as a striker up there instead of just shoving him as a winger we have been recently. It's nice for me, personally, I'd like to see him probably start against Bolton.
Yeah.
Give him a start and see what happens.
I agree. I think the second half, though, mate, they were time wasting. The keeper was taking absolutely ages with every single thing. From 45 minutes onwards, he was taking everything. He was waiting for the ball to come forward to him, picking it up. 3 players went down, right, and just sat there with cramp. They were just sat there like, oh, I've got cramp, and then they were straight back up, and the cop was going nuts, right? Yeah. We were like, come on. The problem was the officials were giving things the wrong way. In the first half, it should have been an Oxford corner in front of me. He'd given a goal kick to Wednesday, and then through that, every throw seemed to go the wrong way. Every corner decision seemed to go the wrong way. He couldn't see a foul for the life of him. That linesman in front of me, honestly, mate, it is the worst refereeing performance I've seen in a while, because the referee, he made some dodgy decisions, but he was informed by his linesman. It was even worse.
Well,
right?
remember the last one of the games where the referee gave the offside, not the linesman.
Mm.
And it just shows you, I think the lower you go, the officiating just gets worse.
It's getting really bad,
The Championship's officiating is terrible, but you go down to League One, it's even worse.
Well, that's the thing. I was like, because I was even talking to Oxford fans afterwards, and they were like, they agreed about the officials, but I don't think that robs them of their win, because they had the game plan. They were sitting down, they were taking it out, they were just taking as much time as they possibly could, and then obviously we equalised, and that's when I realised they were still time wasting after we equalised, so they'd come for a point, right?
Yeah.
They were happy to go with a point. The fact is,
that goal, let's be honest, that was a clever goal by him. He had 2 men around him, and he just flicks it.
Yeah.
No, you're not stopping it. When somebody decides
93rd minute, Sheffield Wednesday. The air came out of all of us, and we expected it though.
But we have this whole thing that we noticed for a long time. We can't seem to concentrate for 90 minutes.
Is it a penalty before?
Yes.
Yeah. I had to retract it on Twitter, because it was originally, I was like, I want to see it back. And I've seen it from all angles. And I was sort of I said on Twitter that the officials cost us the performance. And then I had to recount it, because I was like, they didn't really, because I can see that one being given and I can see it not being given. But I was stood right in front of it. So I obviously saw Patterson get shoved. He came down. I was behind the goal. So when I looked at it, that's a stone wall. The cop was going absolutely mental, as it would. But if you were in another position there, you might think it's a 50-50. But for me, it was still a penalty. I've seen them given many times.
Yeah.
But then they go to the other end and they score a great goal, and they get all the points, And
but even when they got that goal, we did keep going. Bannon hit the bar right near the end and stuff. We were still.
I thought that was in. I genuinely thought that was in.
You're looking at it, just dipping, and he beating him.
Keeper was beaten, and it was just the.
The nice, it's a stupid thing I'll say here, but it is stupid. The nice thing, we're still competitive. In the past, we would have gone, that's it, we're done, we're not winning this now. The problem we've got, this is what we keep doing. And it's a mental thing with this team.
This is what I'm saying though, mate. Like, we need to make sure that we're not going too hard on Moore, because
which everyone is.
No, Twitter's disgusting. That's part of the reason I wanted to get out of a Twitter discourse. I understand. Right, I understand why you might think it's more, but if you're watching the matches and watching how they're playing out, when I was talking to people, because I did have a chat with a few people at the end, I was like, the conversations, and when you're walking out of Hillsborough, the conversations weren't about more. The conversations were about individual errors, and that's where I stand as well. There's so many individual errors at the minute from certain players, and that is what's costing us. The first half was all on Moore, by the way. The first half, he set us up wrong. The second half, though, he adapted it. He brought Berahino on. We played much better, but Oxford were already well into their game plan. They'd already gone. We were already, like, as I said jokingly, I think we played about 25 minutes actually in the second half, because most of it was spent time wasted. Which is that is a valid game plan when you're trying to be that sort of that play style. So I respected that, and I thought they deserved their win from that because they got their reward. Their game plan paid off, but we needed to come at them from the off, and we didn't do that.
Yeah, I got this thing with this team. This team, once it gels and clicks, it could be scary. With how
and people are getting sick of that though, Jake. They're getting sick of that line.
The thing is, I've seen so many people go, well, Wigan got a lot of players and they gelled. Look at Ipswich, they got a lot of players and they've not gelled. The thing is, Moore been in charge 6 months. That is it. He's been in charge 6 months, and people say, "Oh, got to go." It's like, no.
So where do you stand on Moore then? Let's talk about Moore, because that's a big topic that people want to talk about. Where do we sit on Moore at the minute?
Moore's still got to be the person to be in charge for me.
Who do you bring in?
That's my question. The one that I've seen Chris Hughton mentioned, I've seen Ryan Lowe. Ryan Lowe's not going to leave Plymouth.
Why would you bring Chris Hughton in? Right, because
after what just happened.
After what happened at Forest, right?
Yeah.
The players apparently stopped playing for him. It wasn't going well. Darren Moore
at the weekend for
gets on. Yeah, but he gets on with these players. A lot of these players came here because they constantly were talking about Darren Moore and about the relationship with him. Don't get me wrong, it ain't good enough these past few matches. It's not good enough. But there's been so many individual errors. How many points has Bailey Peacock-Farrell cost us, for example? And I hate to say that because the form he was on at the start of the season, there's individual errors, keeping errors cost you points.
What was it that I saw? August 29th. Oh, Darren Moore, king. Bailey Peacock-Farrell's amazing. October 2nd. Darren Moore needs to go. Peacock-Farrell needs to go back to Burnley. Rubbish.
Yeah, bring Dawson back. Yeah, it's
football.
That's what happens after a few matches and how much it can change. Sorry, you talk for a bit. I've talked a lot.
It's all right. As much people don't like it when people say be patient. There has got to be a bit of patience with this. I think the only thing that's annoying me is the constant changing of the team, and especially at the back. Have a settled back four and stick with it. I know some of it might have been injury based, it might have been whatever, but stick with a solid back four and then see what happens. Because we're seeing every game there's a different change, and I get that he's doing it for situational football, different teams, equal thing. But sometimes maybe just having a settled team that know they're going to be in and gel on the pitch as well as off the pitch, knowing that they're going to be in. I just don't like this whole constantly changing. And as much as people had a go at Moore, and I kind of did a bit, I got a bit annoyed with the tired comment.
Yeah, that was stupid.
But the Donny Rover fan that I beat to Dapper, he was saying that you'll hear a lot of that. You will hear a lot of those excuses because he did it at Donny. But the thing is, he's protecting his player, but then he's not protecting himself at the same time. We all want a manager to come out and say, that was rubbish, it's not good enough. But then what does that do when you go back into the dressing room?
Yeah, I get that side of it.
Mourinho was a master at saying, it's on me, it's rubbish, but behind the scenes he says, well, it's not good enough, you need to buck up. He would deflect. He was very good at deflecting. I think that's what Moore's doing at the minute.
I will say Monk, the wheel started to come off with Monk when he started not having a settled 11. And I get the importance of that there. He needs to find it quick because I've said he still doesn't know his best 11. No. And that's because it does need time to gel. But Wednesday, we ain't got no patience, right? And that is the difficulty with being Wednesday fans, right? We are, especially if you look at Twitter, we are the ficklest bunch. The ficklest bunch you can see. And I hate to say it because I get it. I just think people need to stop tweeting straight after. Because even I do it. I fall prey to it sometimes. If you think about it, because you say Moore out and then you go, who do you want in? And then you come for someone unrealistic in our situation. Moore's done a lot with a little. He's not been able to buy a player.
Off the pitch, it's been fantastic. He's doing things right.
Yeah, the results
players are going out loans. Everything like that, fine. on the pitch, and I've seen some people say he's a good academy manager and he'll probably go back to an under-23s and then do an England thing. He did a very good job at Donny with no money.
Yeah.
Pretty much. He is a good manager. The thing is, I just hope for him it's not always going to be the nearly man like we have with Monk. Monk been the nearly man a couple of times. And we've got to give him time. We've got to give him time, but I understand the frustration with fans. I've seen people say give him till Christmas, and if that's not right, then go. But who do you bring in? That's my thing.
There's nobody at this level, really.
We're not that big attractive thing. Championship to Premiership, you go on a run, you get Premiership. Like we
Premier League.
Premier League even.
Christ's sake, right, Jake, how many episodes? Carry
I'm
on.
an old boomer, leave me alone. But it is that whole thing. Championship, you can attract those kind of managers who will want it. League One, not so much. You could use the club as a good attraction, but then people would have to see what they've got to spend, what they've got to do. And right now, it feels daft to keep uprooting managers every time. It just doesn't work.
Here's my issue, right? And we're probably on the other side of this as well. Putting this out, if it goes out like a breakout, we're probably going to get some grief for it. Because there's a lot of Wednesday fans that see the other side of it and they're angry. But you've got to remember the short memory situation here, right? Look at the situation of the dire football and the results we were getting under the likes of Pulis, recently, think of Wednesday's recent history since Carlos, pretty much, okay? Since Carlos, what was happening? Darren Moore, I agree he doesn't always get it right. I said Oxford, the first half cost us, it was costly, but the second half he fixed it. He just needs to back himself and back an attacking team for me. Get a settled 11, back his 11, and go for it, because we've got the players to go for it in this league. He needs to do it a little bit more, because the problem is, and this is why I'm not ready to condemn him yet, it has been individual errors that have meant we have dropped points. You look at the last 6 games, for example, we could have easily picked up 9 points in places if it wasn't for individual errors. That is not on a manager. That is on the players. However, we could then present the counter argument of, well, more should be setting them up to create more, so then the individual errors don't cost us if we outscore teams. That's just not how football works, unfortunately, because you do still have to play with some caution so you don't get battered, even if you've got great players.
We did play that when we had Karloff first season. It was a case of, you go 3, we'll go 4. You can do that, but we're not built in that way. And the thing is, I get people getting annoyed with playing certain players out of position. Johnson isn't a left back.
I must say he did not have a very good game at Oxford. He did not have a very good game.
No.
Jury's out on that lad for me at the minute. Like, is he a permanent as well?
Yeah, we signed him. He's ours. He's not alone. It felt like he was a good player to bring in for experience and stuff, but if you're not going to play him in the right position. The thing is, the other thing you've got, we haven't seen much of Salah. We haven't seen much of him. We haven't seen much of Corbin. Yeah. We haven't seen much of the players we've brought in yet.
I want to see more of Deli Basher as well, because he looks good whenever he gets time.
Well, that's the thing I don't get. You've got a player there who can do that kind of dogged work that Longo does. And we've seen in the past him just muscle players off the ball. And that's what we need. We need someone in that midfield with a little bit of bite. And there isn't that at the minute.
No, I get that completely. Shoving Barry Bannon out to wide midfield just to fit him into the team as well. There is some peculiar decisions, but for me right now, keep Oldham more, because there's no point. There's no point at this stage. Let's just calm down a little bit, shall we? Just a tiny bit. We all think we're going to go back up automatics. That's the issue, right? We all think we're going to be challenging for it, right? And we should be, yes. But it's that we think where we were this time last year.
Yep.
I do sometimes feel like we can be beaten by anyone again, by the way, which is not a nice feeling. But last season, I felt that 10 times worse. We were just going to get battered every time,
Let's have a look what this team's like when we go Josh Windass in and see if something changes. Because we may be able to play on that his speed a little bit and attack a little bit faster with Berahino and, say, Windass. I don't want to always rely on one player, but we have got that in our locker just in case.
I know I said 10 games for more, but given the individual errors in the last few, I can't judge him on that. I can judge him on harshly on certain decisions, as in setting us up weirdly in certain halves. The Oxford game's a really good example because that is a pure example of a lost first half, probably the worst we've played all season. But
I said, see where we are at Christmas.
That's what I was just about to say.
We judge him.
Yeah, because that's the time. That's the time, really. You know where we are.
If you want a good example, Blackpool last season were near the bottom. Then after Christmas, they went on a run and they made it. The only difference is when they have a Christmas hangover from about Boxing Day to February. So yeah,
just back your manager for now. We can't do anything other than back the manager. The right things have been happening in this club. It's quite kind of disconcerting the fact that it's took a few weeks to just kill all that positivity we had. It's just getting back to what it was. It's like we could never just keep riding on it and keep the optimism for a little while. And I'm not trying to be a happy clapper there. Just calm.
And you're not being a happy clapper because you actually said he set it up wrong.
Yeah, it's true. Anyway, let's have a look at the League One's results. Most recent games. Doncaster, MK Dons. Doncaster beat MK Dons 2-1. Fleetwood lost to Charlton 2-1. Crewe and Cambridge 2-2. Lincoln City, Plymouth Argyle 2-2. Bolton, Shrewsbury 2-1 for Bolton there. Obviously facing them on Saturday. That's not being postponed, by the way. Need to mention that now. We're going to be without our keeper. We'll talk about that in a little while. Cheltenham versus Rotherham. Rotherham won 2-0. Portsmouth beat Sunderland 4-0. So if you think we had a bad day at the office, Portsmouth 4-0 against Sunderland. Accrington Stanley beat Ipswich 2-1. So Ipswich are still struggling.
Midweek, Ipswich beat Donny 6-0 or 6-1. So
yeah, we thought that was the Ipswich turnaround as well, but clearly not. Wickham beat Morecambe 4-3. 7-goal game.
93rd or 94 winner for Wickham. Morecambe deserved to be in that game, and they're showing that they're up for the fight in this league.
Definitely. They beat us.
Yeah,
that's not saying much. AFC Wimbledon versus Burton ended in a 1-1 draw. Wigan away from home beat Gillingham 2-0, and obviously we lost to Oxford. Results have put Wigan at the top of the table with 22 points, winning 4 of their last 5 games. But guess which was the one they lost? That's how weird this league is, right?
This
the top
is how
of the league.
we are, though.
Yeah.
We did it the whole of last season and season before that. The team we shouldn't be beating, we were doing. The team we should be beating, we weren't.
Yep, and we sit in 12th on 15 points.
If you're looking
currently.
at the form table, we are bottom.
Shut up, Jake. Right. Talking about Barry Bannon, there's been a few articles about where to place him. We talked about this in detail a couple of weeks ago, so I don't want to go into it too much. It does seem like we're trying to fit him into the team no matter what. He, as I've said a bit earlier, so we don't really need to go into this as a topic, he is a player that can beat a man. That's what he offers different. He offers some... I think people are saying that now, though. He is a step above. What I have seen is people say, should we phase Barry Bannon out and bring the likes of Fisayo, Delibashiru in the middle, bring them in and try and build a midfield with Adenir and Delibashiru and...
bring Bannon on in like second half when people's legs are tired.
Yeah, that's what people have been saying. Do we try and like nurture a youth midfield now? But the problem is we do that. Players move on so often now. You don't really... I know what they're trying to say. Like, you can't have Barry Bannon and just not play him, for me.
It's pointless giving him that contract if we did. If that were the case, we might have well just said, look, we'll sign the contract, but we are going to sell because we need to get some cash.
Yeah.
It would have been pointless to keep him. It's such a weird situation because the Wigan game didn't play Barry Bannon. People are like, listen, why you don't play Barry Bannon? Jesus Christ, tripping over all my words then. And people go, yeah, this is it. This is the reason then he plays. And it's like, well, this is the reason we lost. Well, it's not.
No, Barry Bannon wasn't at fault at Oxford either. So, yeah, just saying. Yeah, I'm tired of this topic because you don't have a Rolls Royce like Barry Bannon and not play him. You also don't pay him that much money and not play him, right?
Exactly.
If anything, you can criticise the tactics of him and where we're using him maybe and say maybe maybe don't feed everything through him. But it is a good. Here's what I'd do. Just don't go backwards to him.
Yeah, let him go forward, not backwards.
Get him higher up the pitch. If our creative players are running through, our wingers are running through, you don't have to play it backwards to get Barry Bannon on the ball, right? But let him be that man when he's further up. Let him play further up and then and switch it through, more of a creative role, and
makes sense.
He doesn't have to be box to box technically. If it's not working with him and too much is going through him and we're having to go backwards to find him, that's an easy enough tactic because then you can put everybody on Barry Bannon, right?
And that's what people are doing.
Yeah.
Because the thing you've noticed is they know it all go through Barry Bannon, so he just gets marked out games.
So then you go, does Darren Moore need to realise that? And is that on Darren Moore? Does he need to then bring him further up the pitch and get him into the game a little bit more higher up that way?
It's a tactical talk, isn't it? It's where that whole not knowing your best team and where do you play the player that you know is very influential, but then you're playing it too deep with him.
Here's a topic for you. Is Barry Bannon half the player he was now because we don't have Ati Nuiu?
I'm not even touching that one.
Because
I get what you're saying.
Ati Nuiu was the player that you had to put two men on to mark.
Yeah.
Right? We freed up those men to come and mark Barry Bannon now. Because everybody was terrified of Nuiu's presence, so he's the one you watched, and Barry Bannon was free to be creative and get through and have a bit more space to do what he wanted to do. Now, everybody marks Barry Bannon because we don't have another focal point threat like that. If you've got a big man on the pitch, everyone thinks you're going to him.
Yeah. And
it worked, especially... just saying...
Maybe when Windass comes back, that helped free it because they'll see him going forward, so they'll want to keep an eye on him and not mark... Yeah, I mean,
well, that's what I'm saying. The second half, this most recently in my brain again. It was working with Patterson as well. When people started to have to pay attention to Patterson in the Wigan game because he was obviously
Patterson,
performing well.
2-2.
Yeah, I know. I'll shut up about that. It's like him saying he had a terrible touch. It's true, but me saying he's not a striker or an attacking
That's like
player.
me saying Windass hasn't got pace.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say that's my version of that. But with Windass. Berahino coming on in that second half, having that more focal point in attack, knowing that Berahino's got a little bit of pace to beat you, was what unlocked us a little bit more. It meant we could get some passes a bit more through the midfield. However, the midfield, I am worried about us playing it through the midfield at the minute because we get it to the wings and it works, but we used to always play centrally. I remember some of our best play coming centrally, with like the Gary Hooper link up and that sort of thing. When we try and do that now, we can't seem to get...
We get the ball way too much.
We can't get the ball out of our midfield. It's not really a midfield at the minute, and we struggle a little bit. We were talking about Luongo, but my audio just died. Jake, can you actually have any clue about what we were just talking about? Because
we were basically saying how we missed Luongo when he got injured in the Championship in that role he does so well, and now we're missing it now. And that Rotherham game showed how crucial he was. And then we're having to redo a midfield again.
Well, we don't really have a CDM.
No.
We don't have that player that breaks up the play. Oh, God. We need a Joey Pelopessi.
Oh, no, not again.
You need some... you need somebody that...
You got a tin hat.
Yeah. You need somebody that does...
on your head.
Mate, you need somebody that does the busy work. You need somebody that does the ugly work to come in and take the pressure off the creative players.
Yeah.
Because we thought Adeniran was going to be a CDM, but he ain't a CDM.
No, he's not. He's definitely not a CDM.
Maybe Fizz could come in and do a little bit of that because he's got
That's what I think should happen.
But he's got more of an actor. He's more of a box to box as well. He likes to get forward, but maybe bring him in and make him a little bit more of that
I'm so
kind
worried
of player.
we're going to let him go on a free.
Oh, yeah. It's Wednesday all over, isn't it? I don't think Moore fancies him, What?
I think he'd like to keep that to himself and he's missed it, actually.
Oh, come on. Come on. That's the softest little take I've ever given you. You didn't have to run with that one. No, but I don't think he sees him
you don't see
as
him
one of
plans,
his...
does he?
No, not for me.
It's a shame.
It is a shame.
And we know what'll happen. He'll go someone's like, well, you remember when he was in our team?
Yep. Like the lad, is it Lewis? Who is it? The one at Everton.
Not Holgate. Yeah, I know what you mean. He's a
Yeah.
defender.
They're all going to be screaming it in the at the car radio now. If you do listen to us in your car, actually, feel free to send tag us on Twitter. It'd be interesting to see where you all listen to us.
Yes.
Please do not send me pictures of your bathroom. Right.
I was about to say that.
Adeniran was being voted Al's September Player of the Month. Congratulations, Adeniran, but it's not really a good month for it. But congratulations, man. He is a player, isn't he? He's a player.
Is. I don't know how we got him for free, like you say.
Okay. I want to talk about the Bailey Peacock-Farrell blunders. I've avoided this topic. We briefly, spoke about it for a while.
We sidetracked around it.
Yeah. In the last podcast, I kind of tried to ignore it, but they're becoming more common. Should we be worried? I've actually had people in my comment section saying they'd never wish Dawson back in their right minds, but now they are.
Yeah.
Which is, I know that's a little bit extreme, but he didn't make a massive blunder, by the way, since we've seen this, but he should have saved that first goal at Oxford. So I thought, if he's making, if he should be doing better in normal saves, where he should be better at naturally keeping.
But this why he's on loan. This is why he's probably on loan from Burnley, because he's not good enough for them. And we saw when he was at Leeds, he had this little bit in his game at time. Back then, he was a young kid. So you could have gone, he's a young kid, he's learning his craft. He's 24? Am I right in saying?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
He's like to say, about a couple of ages when we were looking at Dawson and Wildsmith, time for you to step up and be our number one.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also leaking into the defence a little bit, that they can't trust him as much as they did.
Yeah, I mean, Dunkley's quite vocal, isn't he? But he doesn't see. I don't know. I don't get that feeling like they used to with the keepers. It'll be a big tell against Bolton when Wildsmith has to go in the net.
Well, will Wildsmith play tomorrow? He should do, shouldn't he? Because
in the Pizza Cup.
The only thing I got in the Pizza Cup, I wouldn't play Wildsmith. I'll put one of our young lads in, just in case. I don't want anything to say anything because it normally happens, but you know what the Wednesday way is.
Well, he picks up an injury.
Yeah.
And then we have to
and
play
then we're left with, Because it would be a Wednesday way doing it.
Give the young lad a try, why not?
Yeah. But it creeping in a little bit.
Do we stick with Bailey Peacock-Farrell or do we recall Dawson in January?
It'll be an interesting call if he did recall him. Because he is having a blinder in League 2.
Yeah.
It looks like he's done his confidence the world of good. If he comes in and then knows he can get straight in, that would be an interesting call.
It would, because he'd also be coming back as sort of like the Billy Big, hey, I've got a defence that listens to me here. I've had Player of the Month twice. I'm the man down in League 2. I've got this quality. But
this is what you wanted him to go get, that confidence back.
But can Bailey Peacock-Farrell turn it around for you?
I think he can, as long as they don't keep becoming consistent. That's the word I use. If it consistently little errors, I don't think he can.
I don't think it helps when the defence split in front of him, and then because a good defence makes keepers look world class as well. Do you know what I mean?
But someone said on Twitter, our defence is like parting the Red Sea at times.
Well, the problem was Marvin Johnson at left back, right?
He's not a left back.
Yeah, no, he's not, because he gets beaten, and then you've got to try and cover for it. What side? Can you tell me what side on Saturday did Bailey Peacock-Farrell get beaten on for that first goal?
Right. No, left-hand side, yeah.
His right-hand side, the left-hand side of the pitch. Sorry, his left-hand side, if you're looking at the screen, it would be the right, yeah. Because the player came from that way. Because Marvin Johnson's not a left-back.
He got bullied off the ball. He was watching the Man U Everton game and said, I'll do what Fred done. It's popular in the Premiership.
Yeah, it's even popular in the Premier League, but...
oh, shut up.
Bailey Peacock-Farrell... He's not got long left, I don't think, with the fans' patience if he keeps. But that's not going to help him, because keepers, I can't speak today, is a confidence position.
Yeah.
It's
not going to help more then, because they're more stuck with another decision. I need to change my keeper because the confidence is gone, and then it's another change in the lineup again.
Yeah. I I want to give him a few more games, but if Dawson's playing an absolute... thing is, I've just got the Wednesday wayward for Dawson to come back and his form fall off a cliff. And everyone's like, why have we even recalled him? You know, it's the Wednesday way to do things like this.
Yeah, very much
and
so.
It's almost written. Let us know what you think on the keeper thing in the comments, because Bailey Peacock...
I am interested to see how Wildsmith plays on Saturday.
We can't... Right. You don't become a... Because the thing is, I've never seen Dawson be an excellent keeper. I'm not having a pop there because I'm sure he is at Exeter. But I have seen Bailey Peacock-Farrell be an excellent keeper for quite a few matches for us at the start of the season. So that doesn't just go away.
No.
You know, there's got to be something more to it, and I want to give him a chance to turn it around.
The Ipswich blunder, he looked absolutely shattered.
Maybe he needs to stop going away for Northern Ireland and focus on training.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing,
you
though.
play for your country.
No, I know. I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying the fact that we've got no... Yeah, I know you are, but there's no international break. But what I'm saying is he came straight back in, and that's when the blunders started. He went... Putting two and two together here, actually, he came back off the international break, and that's when the blunders started coming in. He lost that training with the team, and he was thrown straight back in that weekend when he's not been training. And I know goalkeepers often train in their little separate sections, but when they do match practice and stuff, the defence and they line up with it, he's lost that rapport with his back line a little bit more because he was with a different back line.
Also, what they've been working on in training. They might have done something... I know they wouldn't do something drastically new, but there'd be something that to watch out for.
It's not a position you want on an international break, your keeper.
No, it's not.
Because if we're talking about communication along the back line, that's gone, and he's going... And Northern Ireland will play a different way. Different teammates, different style. He has to get it in his head.
And he had an absolute blinder when he was international duty last time. Remember,
it was the first match he came back. The first match he came back, he made the first blunder, and then you get the confidence seeping in. So if anything, we can put it down to the international break, because he comes back, makes an error, and then his confidence is shot after that and makes error. A lot of errors. Hopefully he can sort it out, but he's off again. So maybe... Do you know if he comes... What is Wildsmith? I'm just saying, it's his chance to step up.
Yeah. This is his chance to go, right, I can do
Bolton are a force to be reckoned with at the minute. If he can put in an absolutely stellar keeping performance, I reckon it's your shirt at the minute, Wildsmith. It's your chance. So let's see what happens. Something a little bit more positive. It's nice to talk about positive things.
Yes.
People want to talk about the youth a little bit more. We are going to talk about the youth because it's not, too surprising for an Owls team to be suffering, especially suffering. We were 5-1 down at half time. Our Andy Holdsworth side. Is this the under-18s? Yeah, the under-18s were 5-1 down. They came back in the second half and won 6-5.
Jeez, that's some effort, that.
6-5, and it sees the Owls stay top of the league after 6 games. And that was against Crewe.
Is that the same team who've got Danny Camamartri's son in Bailey in? I know we've got Camamartri's lad in. Yeah.
So, Cadamartri had a hat-trick to make it 5-4.
He's looking like a good player as well.
Yep. I think he scored 4 in the game overall. Al Jahadmi also completed the comeback by driving a low and hard strike into the bottom corner, leaving the goalkeeper rooted to the spot. This is from the club website.
What you like to hear?
And, Kadamatari put Wednesday in front. He got the winner. So he scored a hat-trick to bring the comeback on. Al Jahadmi got us on level terms, and then Kadamatari put us ahead.
Yeah.
So it's just... I wish the actual team could do that. Can you imagine? 11 goals in that game. I know it's academy level, but 11 goals. And people are going, stick him in the first team. Yeah, I tell you what, let's do that. Make sure he's got a year's contract, and then he does well, and he joins Celtic's academy.
Yeah.
Talking
of that Celtic academy, Yorgidi isn't even nowhere near it at the minute.
Yeah, he's also not in FIFA anymore. Aww.
No, he's not. I saw that.
He lost his position in FIFA. Let's go into your community topic, shall we? Lewis wrote in this week on the YouTube community tab saying, is Big Piece now starting every game after that performance at Wigan? And should we be starting 2 up top with him and Gregory or Berahino?
He's in confidence, so yes. Don't change
Yeah,
it. If
play
he's
him.
having fun at the minute scoring, keep him. Keep him happy, keep him in that squad, because he does the work that we used to have a little bit with Fortier, with the like doggy work where you would go after, you would win the ball back and then get it moving again at times. And it's something we've missed in a long time. I'd like to see 2 up top. I don't think it'll happen under Moore. He's not one to do it.
No, but Gregory and Berahino, for me, I just look at that and I go, that's a pair, because Berahino's got the pace and Gregory's got the finishing, so why don't you just let them be a 2 up front?
Exactly.
Put Big P in just behind him.
Yeah. Get
Get the Big P in just behind. Right. Thank you, Lewis.
Shit.
So this is from an email we got sent in, an anonymous email. Please send your names in if you're going to email us. If you could travel back in history to watch any match, what would it be and why?
It's a weird one for me, because, and it's a little bit of somber one. The match we got relegated from the Premier League, back then known as the Premiership.
Okay.
Because the last game, I actually went with my grandma.
Oh.
And even though we went down, it was nice to do something that she loved doing while she could do it. Even though she was wanting to fight everyone.
She was wanting to fight everyone.
Yeah.
Mine would be just a little bit before my time. The 91 Cup final. I'd love to have been there.
Would have been good, wouldn't it?
Yeah. If you don't know, for whatever reason, if you're a younger listener, Wednesday beat Man United in the Football League Cup. Nigel Pearson getting man of the match.
VH tape, and I played it to death. The Dink.
Oh, I'll tell you what I have got here. Sheffield Wednesday's greatest FA Cup victories on video.
Oh.
It's a banger right there. Right.
Have they got the old like proper 90s like fronts of them where they was like really colourful?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like very, very, very 90s. If you can't see, obviously, if you're an audio listener, just imagine 90s VHS.
Yeah.
And that's what we've got. But yeah, we want to say, if you want to write into us at email, talkingwednesdaypodcast@gmail.com, please send it in, but leave your name. That'd be great. Yeah. And watch a load of anonymous ones come through now. Zayon in the YouTube community, this is the last community topic for today, says, when fully fit, who do we play as our main striker partnership? Any of Windass, Gregory, Big P, Berahino for me personally. Again, we don't have a strike partnership.
We don't have a partnership, so it's hard to call. We're not a team that plays a partnership. That's the issue. And it's again playing players out of position. And when we did it with Berahino, where we've been a winger, he's not a winger. You've got ready-made wingers on the bench. Use the wingers. I know you're trying to fit everybody in, but the professional football, they know they're not going to play every game. But if you promised them that, that's on you. If you want to do a partnership, do a 2 up top. And a 2 up top in this team probably would do very well in this league with the quality we've got.
Go a bit more traditional. Why not?
Yeah.
Just route one it. See what happens. Hopefully this week's better. We got the Wigan win. I really thought Oxford was going to be different.
I thought we were going to start going a bit more now.
I thought that would be the turning point, but maybe not. But on to Bolton. Obviously the Pizza Cup's first, but the Bolton match is going to be
I don't know if Kieran
tough.
Lee's fit. I think I've read Kieran Lee not fit. It'd be nice to see if he was fit, because he never got a proper send-off.
Yeah, he said some stuff about us this week, didn't he?
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. I have put it in the thingy. Bolton Wanderers midfield Kieran opens up a unique bond with the Sheffield Wednesday fans. He might have left Hillsborough last summer, but Kieran had nothing but fond memories of his time with Sheffield Wednesday. The experienced midfield spent 8 years in South Yorkshire after arriving on a free from Oldham Athletic, appearing over 200 times for the Blue and White Wizards. He said, I feel like I made the right move at Bolton. Coming out of Sheffield Wednesday, I had a few options, speaking to the manager as soon I wanted to do. I felt like this was a club ready going. The fans at Sheffield Wednesday were great. I had a good relationship with them, and I think they understood every time I went out on the pitch, I gave everything and got it back from the fans. And he did.
He did.
He
That's
really
true.
did.
He'd be welcome back at Hillsborough.
And
Where's that
was
from, Jake?
Yorkshire Examiner.
Yorkshire Examiner. Or were they taking that from somewhere? I assume they were taking that from somewhere else because it's probably a local Bolton thing. But Dom does his work on the getting them from all over, doesn't he? Great reporting, in fairness. Anyway, that's it.
That's it. Yep.
For the Talking Wednesday podcast, that's all I have got, sir. Anything from yourself?
Stay dry because the weather keeps changing. It's doing my head in.
Yeah, I got soaked on Monday. I didn't appreciate it. Last Monday, even.
Yeah.
Which is probably, I looked quite drown rat on the podcast last week. That was why.
Yeah, I remember you before you came with it. Just give me 5 minutes. I need to make myself presentable.
Yeah, I wasn't even presentable then, mate. Long hair, it's really annoying. If it gets wet, you can't do anything about it, like unless you're going to fully wash it again. So
here comes the
it takes a while.
Then.
Oh, yeah. At least I got mine. It's always the bold ones. It's always the bold ones. Sorry if I've just triggered you and you're actually a very nice bold person. Because as a lot of you are, actually, because I've met a lot of you. But it is always the bold ones that comment on the long hair. Just saying. Anyway, that's it from me. Take care. Have a lovely week. We'll see you on the next episode of Talking Wednesday.
See ya.